Okay. Hi. Welcome to episode 22 of the IPP podcast. This is my brother's Peyton's favorite podcast, and it's also his birthday today. He's 29. I texted him this morning while I was at work, and I said, "Birth, almost 30." He said, "I'm so old, one foot in the grave." I said, "Might as well be dead." He said, I'm about to start getting calls from AARP." He's 29, by the way.
Oh my god.
I also realized that when I say IPP podcast, like I double up because IPP. The last P already stands for podcast. So impooped podcast.
IPP.
Yeah.
IPP.
IPP poo poo in my little pantaloons.
IPP poo 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 poo.
So yeah, happy birthday, Peyton. We're filming this on your birthday, which
you should be so happy.
He should be.
All right, so this Pokemon's crazy looking. It looks like
Most Pokemon are crazy.
Yeah,
looking.
that's true. It looks like a serpent, but then it like opens up, and then it's like a head of something.
Oh, it's Superior?
Yeah. Wow,
it's
grass.
the evolution of Snivy. Yeah.
Wow.
I love Snivy. Like, as a Pokemon, terrible to fight with, but I love Snivy.
Snivy, let me see.
Snivy's the first
tell
evolution
me.
of that Pokemon.
Oh, he's so cute.
I love Snivy. Snivy's so cute. Of the three in that generation, the starters, so it's Snivy, Oshawott, and Tepig. Oshawott is the fucking man. He's
the tits?
He's an otter, obviously.
Oh,
and
dude.
he has like a shell on his tummy, and it's like something he uses to fight with. And then when he evolves, it becomes like a fucking like horn.
He's the tits.
I mean, the starters themselves are not crazy, but they're very cute, and I love them all. Anyway,
they're very cute. Well,
they're very cute.
I've had a hectic week so far of editing, and
we have been nonstop go for
since we got back from Seattle. Thank you, Braden.
for getting married or whatever.
Yeah, like, so tomorrow we're taking a day off.
Yeah.
We're going to the coast, and
yeah,
we're somewhat trying to rush stuff to get things done so that we could relax tomorrow. Actually, relax.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyways. That's my...
All this to say, you didn't prepare anything.
That's my way of saying I didn't prepare much.
Which is fine.
And so I thought of just a few questions. The first few are pretty quick and easy. I figured that we can probably delve a little bit into why you would choose each one rather than just going right past one. But the first few are easy, and then it gets to like the bottom like 4 or 5 that gets a little bit more fun. But First one, jelly or peanut butter?
Peanut butter. I feel like you can do so much with peanut butter. Hey, RIP if you're allergic to peanuts, you're missing out, dog.
Rip.
Peanut butter fucking rules. Peanut butter.
I think I would choose jelly.
Don't get me wrong, I love jelly, but if I could eat a spoonful of peanut butter, I can't eat a spoonful of jelly. That's kind of gross. B, the consistency and like the texture of it.
I just feel like peanut butter is way too strong for me.
It's peanuts.
It's just too much.
Peanut butter and peanuts in general is such a strong flavor. It'll cut through just about anything.
Just way too much for me.
I choose the peanut butter.
And I choose the jelly.
the
jelly. Hot or cold?
Would I rather be?
Yeah.
Cold.
Cold, 100%.
I hate sweating. Sweating's disgusting.
I have customers that walk in and they're like, "Oh, I'd rather be like this so I can go swimming." I'm like, "Dog, no, because then you're not always in a pool."
You know what is a number one ruiner of your outfit and how you look? Sweat.
Yeah.
Being hot. Because I like to straighten my hair, and guess what gets sweaty as fuck? The back of my neck. Guess what's ruined? My fucking hair. So, no, I'd rather be cold.
Yeah, I'd rather layer up.
And our energy bill is cheaper during the winter.
It is so much cheaper. But no, I'd rather layer up. The more layers, you can do so much with your outfit when you have more layers.
True.
You can't do much when, you got a shirt and shorts.
True.
That's it. And then you're trying to, be as skimpy as possible because
You have to.
You have to.
At least where we live, it's too hot.
It's way too hot. So, hot or cold? Pictures or words?
Bitch, what?
I don't know.
What?
Just throw this together.
Well, I know you would say pictures, A, because you're a photographer, and B,
I can't read.
You're inarticulate as so, I don't know. I like talking. I could talk all day.
So, words?
Sure.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
I'm a yapper to my core. That's why we do this, so
I'm
that
a
I
yapper
could
to my
talk.
core.
Do you think I do this because it's fun? No, I do it because I love to talk.
And then you're worn out for the rest of the day.
And then I don't. Okay, that is so funny that you bring that up. Because, like, sometimes we'll record the podcast, and then we'll, like, go to, like, dinner with my family.
Oh, my gosh.
And
We're so
say,
drained.
We will say nothing
Yeah.
to each other because it's like, well, what else are we going to talk about? We just talked to each other for an hour.
Yeah. And it's funny because, like, I think people think of our relationship as we're always talking to each other.
No.
But the thing is like, I honestly have not talked a lot at work recently, but there are times where I have to talk to customers.
You're in customer service.
And it drains the shit out of me. So when I come home, I don't want to talk to anyone.
I don't either.
And so when we come home, we don't really talk to each other much. I call her after I get off, so we talk about our day. And then sometimes that leads right into when we get home. But then after we, like, sit down, we do our own thing.
The second my butt is planted into my office chair, my headphones are on and I'm playing Free Cell Solitaire.
Yeah.
You're at your Do you think I got to level 510 by
How many days do you have?
I don't know. I haven't checked, but the last time I checked, okay, here's the thing. So Microsoft Solitaire, because Xbox or was it Minecraft or Microsoft that bought
Microsoft,
Xbox?
yeah.
So now those are linked. So now on Xbox, I can see how many hours I have in Microsoft Solitaire. It became so many hours that it's no longer hours, and they put it in days. Like, it's worth of days. Last time I checked, it was 12.
I think the last time I had something like that was probably in a Call of Duty.
It will not count it in hours. It's only days. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's funny when I talk to, like, my stepdad about his video games that he plays.
Yeah.
And his hours, dude, compared to mine, I'm like, I don't know how you have this much time in your life to play that many hours.
You're running rookie numbers compared to your dad.
I am. And then when
pushing 40,
and
by
then
the way.
when he talks to
50,
his friends about their numbers, they play more than he does.
Yeah.
So then I'm sitting here, I'm like, dude, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Because there are days, I'm not going to lie, we sit down, you have your solitaire, you turned on a YouTube, and that's your thing. Yeah. There are times where I sit there and I look at my like homepage and I'm like, I don't know what I want to do. I have a line of games off to the side and I'm just like,
You're not playing them.
I downloaded Knights of the Old Republic.
You did.
I've played 10 minutes of that thing.
Sorry.
I've played 10 minutes of that thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just, to be fair, I started playing that, like, right before a photo shoot.
Yeah.
And then that's all my life has been recently is photo shoots, which I'm not complaining.
Do the plug.
I'm not complaining.
Do the plug.
You want me to plug?
Go ahead and plug. You made a video.
I have another video coming out. And then I might get another video.
Guys, he's cheating on the podcast. He has other videos.
I have other videos. That's what I mean by,
content.
like, my life right now is chaotic, and it sucks that I have to go to a fucking 9 to 5 and have to do that where I'm wasting my life away.
7 to 4, but same.
It's 9 to 5. It's anyways. What's the next one? Day or night?
Bitch, get the out of here. You were like, oh, I have some questions lined up. Do you? Do you?
That's what I said. These first ones are going to be easy.
Yeah, I can see that. Nighttime.
Me too.
I like nighttime. Although we've already answered these questions, but my brother Clayton bought this new game. It was called Herd Mentality. And basically the idea is you read a card and then everybody gives an answer and you want to be in the majority.
You want to go along with the herd.
Right. So you get a point if you're in the majority of answers. One of the cards read, what is the biggest fruit you can fit in your mouth without cutting it up? The way I have thought about that question every day of my life since I've heard it is crazy.
I'm going to ask that to all my friends the next time we play Magic or D&D or something.
It's just like I want to know what people are going to say. I asked my grandma and she was like, a nectarine. And I was like, thank you, Grandma.
Like, all right,
thank you for your answer.
For sure. That's sick. That's
it's just
dope.
it is
a question that sticks with you.
Very interesting. very interesting. And then there was, I can't remember, there was another really good one, and I can't remember what it was, but one of the ones that I remember that I thought was bad was like, what would you, if you had to dress up as one of these three for the rest of your life? It was clown, butler, and pirate. And I said butler because I'm always dapper.
The one I hated, and I had a horrible. The card has 2 questions on it.
There's a front and a back.
Both mine were horrible, so I picked the one that I was like, okay, this was the only one that I thought was good, and it was still horrible. Which of the 3 would you resurrect? Mozart, Einstein,
and Shakespeare.
I was like, dude, what the hell?
I said Einstein. We need that motherfucker now.
I said that Einstein would kill himself the second he came back.
I was gonna say the American literacy rate would kill him again.
Yeah,
it would kill him again.
I think I said Mozart.
Yeah,
I think that's what I said. Shakespeare.
Jordan said Shakespeare, and I was surprised. I was like, nah.
Yeah, I don't. I think he's along with Einstein.
If Shakespeare were alive today, there would be some.
There
would be some Gen Alpha kid on Instagram who would call him the F slur, and then he would cry.
He would see the SpongeBob Broadway show, and he would die.
Like,
he would kill himself.
What has become of my art form? That is funny. No, like I genuinely think someone on Instagram would be like, Shakespeare. You mean that F slur that wrote Romeo and Juliet, and then he would die.
And then he would just crawl up, shrivel up, and die.
That's so funny to think about because the internet landscape, like, there was that bit that was going around in like 2020, 2021, where it's like things that would send a Victorian child into a coma. Like, do you remember that trend?
I think so.
I had a whole list of items that I could read to you later if you want me to. But I was like, just hand them an iPhone with TikTok in it and like give them an hour. And they're dead. They're knocked over. They're like, what is a GAT and how do I stick it out for the Rizzler? Like, that is so funny. They're like, what is 5 big booms? Who is this kid?
Their brain would just implode on themselves.
Yeah. I think, yeah. Anyway.
Favorite time of the day?
You just asked me that.
But like during the day.
11:45.
There we go. Know. Cool. That was what I was wanting. Mine's golden hour.
Oh, period. I think, you know what? I'm going to change my answer. I like.
Nope, you can't. Next one.
Fuck you. I edit this podcast. I can make you say whatever I want. I love like right when the sun comes up. Like, I think dusk.
Ooh, that's
kind
a
of thing.
That's
like,
a good
I
one.
love dusk is right before the sun's dawn. I like dawn. Like that time of day, like right when the sun's coming up and everything's still kind of cold.
Yeah.
And it's bright. I like that time of day.
Bright.
Xbox
or PlayStation?
Xbox. I've never owned a PlayStation in my life.
Really?
No. We never owned a PlayStation. We owned almost every single Nintendo console. And then the 360 up to...
I almost put on here
the
Nintendo Switch 1 or 2, but I was like, we don't have the 2.
No, and I held it. Clayton got one. It's way too big, in my own opinion.
Yeah.
I think it's way, for a handheld console, too big.
I saw
Switch, perfect.
I saw recently, so PlayStation's coming out with their own handheld. Xbox is coming out with their own handheld.
Bitch, you mean the PSP?
No.
They already have one.
No. They will never be able to remake that.
The Vista?
No. They're remaking. Everyone's doing their own handheld shit.
They already exist. It's called the PSP.
No.
PlayStation Portable. It's the PSP.
No.
The PS Vita.
No.
Vista? Vita?
Those flopped, and they knew it, so they're trying it again.
The PSP didn't flop, did it?
No, it didn't.
I think that performed very well.
I think it performed really well.
Obviously, the DS beat it by a mile. But
yeah, it was just very limited to what it could do.
Yeah.
So I think they had to discontinue it. Anyways,
gotcha.
But I was an Xbox boy growing up.
A boy.
I remember my dad bought the Xbox.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The first time. I think I cried.
Dude, you know what I kind of miss about like consoles in particular is in the original Xbox when you would boot it up and it had like that cool black screen and then like the goo or like the smoke or whatever. The PlayStation used to do that too. There's no...
PlayStation had its own, like... I don't even know what it was. It's just like...
That noise, like the startup noise. It was iconic. And then you could see, like,
you just start them up now, and they're just like, well, all right, we're on.
Here's your menu. Like, opening up my Xbox One, boring.
Dude, and then when the Xbox 360 came out and you got your own avatars...
Yeah,
dude,
and
game changer.
It would show up on the main screen.
Game changer.
It was awesome.
It was so cool. And then that, like... That's what I'm saying, dude. Can't make it like that.
It used to be cool.
So yeah, I switched from I bought the Xbox One. I went from Xbox 360, Xbox One, and then Call of Duty, the competitive, switched to PlayStation.
Really?
So PlayStation bought the rights to Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm.
So PlayStation was getting everything first, and they had everything exclusively.
Gotcha.
So I mean, it still was on Xbox, but everything went to PlayStation first.
Yeah.
So I switched then because I was like, holy shit. Well, now I got to switch. So then I switched to PlayStation, I think 4 at the time.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, and then that was the last console I had was the PlayStation 4. So, and I liked it. I enjoyed I thought the Switch was pretty cool. Like the switch from the Xbox to the PlayStation.
Yeah.
I honestly liked the controller a lot more.
On the PlayStation?
On this PlayStation.
I kind of like them too. Like my
There's
hands
just
are
something
used.
about them.
It's very satisfying. My
It
hands are
is.
very used to Xbox controllers, but holding a PlayStation one is very nice.
Yeah,
I like it.
I don't know what it is.
It's smaller. It's not as bulky. Like I like it. I quite like it.
So yeah, and then and I did get to play the PlayStation 5 when we were in Washington for a short period of time.
Oh, what were you? You were
Playing
playing
Oblivion.
Oblivion. That's right.
And that was cool. Like
Yeah.
that made me when we came back, I was like, should I get a fucking PlayStation 5?
Oh, we can't afford that, but
No.
it'd be
And
nice
then, like,
to think.
even Tyler got a PlayStation 5 recently, and he's
Yeah.
like, yeah, dude, I'm getting back into it. And I was like, man, dude, maybe I should. And then I was like, no.
Best I can offer you is an Xbox One that was a hand-me-down because my brother got the Series S.
Oh, I actually turned my Xbox One in for my PlayStation 4.
Ah.
Like, I think I sold it and then bought the PlayStation 4 or
Gotcha.
something. I don't remember. But movies or shows? I know you don't like either.
I don't watch either. I think I've had this before where I've stopped watching or like starting new shows because A, they go on too long, or B, they go on for too long and then they just suck.
Yeah.
So I guess shorter form, like quick stories, come and go, like movies is better for me. I just don't do it. Again, my exception is still anime. For example, like the Apothecary Diaries is still coming out. F***ing spectacular.
What are the comics called for anime?
Manga?
Manga. I was trying to think of that. My
Manga.
brain is so fried.
Yeah.
Because I was going to ask you anime or manga. What would you prefer?
I watch anime mostly. The only manga I've ever read was I'm currently reading the light novel, which is basically like it's what they for some stories what they base the manga out of, and then they draw all the pictures. In the light novel, it's mostly just a book with a few pictures scattered in. I'm currently reading the light novel for Apothecary Diaries because again, it's f***ing spectacular. And then one I read all the way through to the end was Fruits Basket, my favorite anime of all time. And then I've read the manga for House Husband.
House Husband. You showed me that,
Yes,
right?
that's
Yeah.
what we named Tatsu after.
that
The
was
main
pretty
character is
good.
named Tatsu.
Yeah.
And so that's where I got the name from. But yeah, I watch anime mostly because again, I like reading manga, but there are some times where it jumps around a lot, and I'm like, okay, first you have to get to you're reading right to left. Second, you have to figure out how. Like, that was kind of an adjustment when reading manga is I'm like, okay, who's talking? What bubble comes next? And am I going to be lost? And the answer is yes, most likely. But I did read Fruits Basket all the way through. And then I have the very first volume of Sailor Moon. That was the first manga I ever got, was the first volume of Sailor Moon.
I would think bringing it back to movies or shows.
Yes.
It's hard for me to choose because there are a lot of really good shows like Breaking Bad that do know when to end it.
Agreed.
But then there are movies like
Fast and Furious. We're on like what?
Fast
11,
and Furious
12?
10. You know, there are movies like the Fast and Furious where they don't know when to end it. No, but that's just the thing too. You did bring up a good point, is that there has been so many times with shows and movies that they don't know when to end.
They get approved for another season and they're like, all right.
Yeah, and
let's go.
And I feel like the Breaking Bad's a really good example of
knowing when to stop. Yeah.
And I think the Game of Thrones would have been a perfect show if they had done 2 seasons instead of 1 at the very end.
Yeah, that's the complete opposite of what we're saying too, which is weird. It's like you needed another one, but you crammed it into the last one,
Yeah.
and then it sucked.
So, I mean, it just depends because then you get shows like The Walking Dead that just like went on way too long.
You know what I got a Netflix notification for right before this podcast? Season 21 of Grey's Anatomy.
21?
You not 21 seasons.
Dude, that is crazy.
Dog,
I remember
Ellen Pompeo retired, dude. She's tired. She's exhausted.
I remember when my mom and stepdad got together, and my stepsister had just started watching Grey's Anatomy, and she had caught all the way up to it.
So
that is insane.
How
dude.
long have
like 8-9 years?
And they're on 21. Do the fucking math.
But that was before. Like she had to catch up to when they were like the most recent.
I know,
ones.
but it was easier because there was less to watch.
Yeah, that's nuts, dude.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, my answer is movies.
Right.
I will always love movies.
Right.
It's hard for me nowadays to sit down and watch a really good show.
Agreed.
Because they're very far in between now. So
yeah, a lot of schlop out there.
A lot of schlop. They're just kind of throwing everything.
Yeah. That's okay.
Cold food or hot food?
What the fuck are these questions?
Do you like these? Do you like these questions?
No, I don't.
You're loving it. I can tell.
You know what? I'm gonna full 110% your questions though. I'm gonna do my best. Whoa. So I will say I don't like cold sandwiches. Prefer a hot sandwich. But we tried I think it was called sukemen, which is like the cold ramen we had.
Yeah.
At that one place. The taste was great, but the temperature threw me off. The whole point is like it's cold and you're supposed to dip it. So when it's hot outside and you don't eat hot ramen, I did not like that.
I didn't like it.
I was like, this ramen better be warm. It needs to be warm.
Yeah,
like
it's like
a piping hot bowl.
It's kind of hard to explain like how my mind thought of it because it
was a jarring.
It's hard to switch your brain to like it.
It is like
it's
I'm
like
expecting
if you're
this food to normally
hot
be hot
ice cream almost like spicy ice cream.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't make sense. It shouldn't happen.
That's why the sukemen was like kind of jarring because that food that I'm used to seeing, I picked it up and put it in my mouth was cold. I'm used to it being warm, and I was like, this is a strange experience.
No.
But again, the taste of it was fine. Like it was good. But it was just that it was cold. I didn't like it. I mean, it served its purpose. We did it knowing exactly what it was going to be, but it was a bit strange for sure. But yeah, no, I don't even really like sandwiches that much. You love sandwiches. I don't really like cold sandwiches.
It's funny because like between the two of us, you were so much more pickier than me. But it's not like you were completely pickier. It's the fact that I love food. I will eat almost anything. And whenever you have a craving, I'm like, shut up. We're going and getting that.
I was just
because there are times where like I crave everything.
Yeah.
And there are times where I'm like, all right, what do you want to eat? And we sit there and we try to figure out what we're going to eat. And usually it's Asian food. I'm not complaining because I love food. But there are times where I'm like, damn, so a good ass pizza would be so good. Or pizza. Just a big juicy burger with some good fries. Or even, you know what? Fuck it. Let's go get a sandwich. Like, dog.
You like American food. That's
barbecue. Oh,
I do with barbecue.
Barbecue go crazy.
No, but like I'll basically be like, I'm hungry, and you're like, okay, we'll figure out something to eat. And I was like, do you want to get this? You're like, yeah, I'll eat anything. I'm like, oh, okay. What about this? You're like, yeah, I'll eat that too.
Yeah, no, you do a thing because where I grew up, you had to drive anywhere through the town to get.
You lived in the country, and I did not.
And so whenever I moved here, even still to this day, driving, I would say only driving out of town is now of a burden to me because I'm like, I don't want to go over there and then have to, that's a whole day wasted basically.
Right.
So whenever it comes to stuff in town, I don't care if it's across town and if it's good, I'm going to eat it. Because there's been times where you'll pick something and you're like, well, I don't want to say it because it's too far. And I'm like, say it. And then you're like, okay, this place. And I'm like, let's go. And you're like, really? And I'm like, let's do it. Because I'm like, I want food. You're hungry. And whatever you want, I'm basically down for it because...
That's true. Because where you used to live, again, in the country, you would have to drive into town here to do anything
Not
fun,
necessarily.
let alone food.
So, yes, but no. Because we had all of the basic ass shit.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, we would live on one side of this on the town, and we'd have to drive to where all of the stuff is.
Oh, I see.
So we would have to make a drive no matter what. And there was a point in time where we moved to a different city, like close to that city, but we would still have to drive into that city to get food.
I'm sure it was jarring moving here because no matter where you are less than 10 minutes away from something.
It was.
There's something everywhere.
It's overwhelmed.
The best.
I was overwhelmed.
It's the best.
Because
I will admit.
there was times when I first moved here that I would be sitting in, because I lived with my mom. I wasn't able to move into like an apartment or anything right away. So I was living with my mom, and there are times where I'm sitting in my room and I'm like, I don't know where to go. I don't know what's good.
Too many options.
I was like, there's way too many things going on. And like I didn't have any friends that lived here so I didn't know what to do.
I'll cut it out. You said it. I'll cut it out.
And so I didn't know like where to go. So I don't know. Anywhere in the city I'm fine with.
Yeah, because again,
I'd say hot food.
Hot food.
Yeah.
Hot drinks.
Hot drinks really get you going.
There is from the 90s. There is a training video for Wendy's. And it features this kid because they're like teaching you how to make coffee or whatever. And it's a song and it bangs. You just go, hot drinks really get you going. It's a banger. You should look up Wendy's hot drinks. I got it as a suggested video today and I almost watched it.
It's so good. It's so good.
Dude.
So you would pick hot food too?
Sure. I like a warm meal. A nice warm meal.
You're going to love this one.
No.
Pick a number between 1 and 100.
I hate you. 69.
I should have said 50.
My other answer is 42.
Oh, I was going to say 42.
That'd be my other answer. Sorry, I didn't mean to jack that from you.
Dude, we're like one person. That's crazy.
You're just me with a penis.
That is true.
and
you're me with boobs.
And I'm you, but more literate.
Yeah, that is true, yeah. Favorite board game? This is interesting because I don't think I've ever actually asked you.
Oh, crap. I've played a lot of board games in my time. I love Splendor. Splendor is amazing. If you don't know what Splendor is, it's a really basic game where you basically just collect tokens and then buy like cards. It's hard to describe. If you want to know, look it up. But I love Splendor. It's 4 players. It's easy and it's one of those games where it's like anybody could win. Like there is some strategy to it, obviously, but it's like anybody could win.
Yeah.
If it's your first board game, you're like, oh, this is easy kind of thing. But it's so much fun. I'm also impartial. It's kind of a card game, but it's Love Letter. I adore Love Letter.
Love Letter's
I
pretty
love
good.
it so much. Love Letter is basically like the idea is you're trying to deliver a love letter to the princess. And so you have all of these other cards you have to sort through. And if you figure out if you draw the princess, like you can call them out, see what card they have, yada, yada. It's a fun time. I quite like it. I played a lot of board games in my time. My brother is horny for board games, so I've played a lot of them.
Yeah, he has a lot.
He has a lot.
I'm going to go easy with this one. Risk.
You do like Risk.
I love Risk.
That's okay. Risk is fun.
I think it was my graduation from high school.
I played Risk maybe like once or twice
where
in my life.
we played Risk. That was like the thing I wanted to do. Like
right.
I had all like some of my friends and whatnot came over and we did the the graduation part and then I was like, all right guys,
sit down, assemble the board.
We're playing. Risk. And more recently I have not played it in a long time because of this, but I had played it with my stepdad and his friends.
Dog.
Dude.
You would come home and you're like, you will not believe what happened at Risk tonight.
Seriously. Like, okay, so mainly, this was the first time I've ever done this with Risk it was up to, I want to say it was like 15 games. Mm-hmm. And he got shy. And each game was connected to the last. So it wasn't like a game of Risk would end and then you would start a new one. No. It was a forever going game, basically. It would change the board. Things would happen. You would unlock new factions and whatnot. It was crazy. And so there was 2 people on. There was 5 of us. But there was 2 guys who had an unspoken alliance all 15 games. And it pissed the 3 of us off.
Yeah.
And there was times where I legit thought I was witnessing a friend group breaking and falling apart in front of me. And I was like, I don't think I've ever seen this. And I've gotten close to witnessing multiple friend groups over like Magic or even D&D like fall apart too.
Your stepdad had to walk out for one of the games.
Oh
He got so
yeah,
mad.
the second he got out, he left. He's like, "Bye guys, see you next week." And I was like, oh crap.
Real raggy.
And then he had to come back and apologize to everyone the next week because he was like, "Guys, I just realized it's a game. We're all friends. Doesn't matter. Blah blah blah." And I was like, "Dude, this is so funny. Like, this is crazy." There would be times where I'd come home pissed. So I was like, "I almost won."
It's like, but these people had an alliance and it was bullshit.
Bullshit. So I'd say Risk. There's just a lot going on. There's so many variations at this point. My favorite one is probably 2042, I think it is.
I think the only version of Risk I have ever played is Star Wars Risk, and it was a severely simplified version of the game.
That is so funny.
It was Star Wars Risk. My brother Peyton, he got it for Christmas. He wanted it for I think Christmas or like a birthday. And
want to play Risk with your brothers so bad.
I don't know if obviously they know how to play Risk, but I don't know the last time that they did.
I want to play it so bad.
Yeah,
because a lot of it, like, there is strategy, but a lot of it is luck.
Yeah.
You can send in all your forces to one state, and there would be one person defending it, and you roll all shit, and that person just rolls great.
Like I said, my brother Clayton he loves board games. He loves complex ones too, but there is one game he loves that no one will play with him because it takes too long, and we all get angry. Monopoly. We cannot play Monopoly.
There's still a game.
He loves it, and we don't play it because it takes way too long, and we all get upset at some point.
There's still a game that my stepdad bought me for one
I'll
of
cut
my...
that out as well.
that my stepdad bought me for one of my birthdays called Puerto Rico.
Oh, yeah.
Still have never played the game.
Yeah.
Because every time I brought it with me to, like, friends or whatever, they're like, that's too complicated. I'm like, guys, are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah.
I was like, we're not gonna be able to understand everything on the first time. Let's just play the game.
Just play the game.
Let's
like you're about to cry.
Let's just play the game.
Play the game.
I do get annoyed. There are times where, like, I play with friends or, like, with your family with, like, a first game, and they sit there and they explain every single thing, and I'm like, guys, you understand the way we're gonna understand this if we play the game.
Damn.
But I sit there and I'm like,
I'm gonna hear about this one.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna hear about that one.
It started like with
I'm gonna get live tweet text after this one comes out. I'm
I
hear
don't
about that
care.
one.
Anyways, there was a point in time where I was introducing a friend to Magic, and me and another friend were playing Magic, and the other friend was like, "All right, so let me explain to you how everything happens." And I'm like, "Brother, let him sit down and let's just play." And he's like, "But he's gonna have to." And I was like, "He's gonna learn. Shut up and let's play." And he's like, "All right." And he played, and guess what? He understood how to play. Because he was playing the game rather than being taught how to play the game.
On the podcast, it's like a whole different thing. But you genuinely don't get animated about things that don't matter. It's so funny to watch you get frustrated about irritated. Board games.
It's just because I have the love for it. Plus, it's also like, usually when I'm playing games like this, I have no more patience.
Yeah, that's true.
It's usually at the end of my day. I've either got done working and all of my patience is done. And I'm sitting there, I'm just like...
Yeah. Again, on the pod, like, obviously we talk about things and we get loud or whatever, but you're generally, like, a calm dude.
Yeah.
It's just so funny to see what you get upset about.
Board games.
Yeah. And
board games, movies, Star Wars.
And work. That's really all you get upset about.
That's it. Next one.
I'll get mad at anything.
Seriously, yeah. You're a hater to your core.
A cockroach looks at me wrong and I'm screaming.
You're like, what the hell? Yeah. If you could have a vacation house anywhere in the world, where would it be? Not Japan. Because I know your answer would be Japan.
I would say...
And it's just a vacation house. Somewhere where you go.
Yeah. I know morally, financially, economically, I don't want to say this answer. It's also a basic bitch answer. But Hawaii, legitimately, like, I loved being there. I went there for a week this past July. And I
still have never been.
I know. And I genuinely do believe, like, tourism should slow down. Like, I don't think people should visit Hawaii because, you know, locals are being drawn out by the high prices of tourists and people are buying islands and locals can no longer afford to live there, yada, yada, yada. If we're ignoring all that, Hawaii. I loved it there. I loved every minute I was there.
I think I'd have to visit it first, but I'd probably say somewhere in Spain.
Yeah, I was going to say, or maybe somewhere in... No, because I was
probably
I don't even want a vacation in Europe. It'd just be very specific parts of Europe. Maybe like Italy or something.
Yeah, I'd say like not even like in the heart of Spain because I feel like that'd be a lot like really overwhelming and
same thing. A lot of tourists and the locals.
I would want to go somewhere
gouged.
where it's a lot more calm. So I would say if it's anywhere in Spain, I'd say like countryside Spain.
I would say like an Irish countryside maybe for me, or like I would love to go. Honestly, anywhere where I can see the Borealis, Aurora Borealis. That is on like an official bucket list thing. Like I do want to see the Northern Lights at some point before I die.
Kick the can.
But it's cold and I gotta prepare for wherever I go because to not know.
Let's go to Alaska. Right, you can see it there, right?
I don't know. I honestly have no idea. But I don't know. I was like maybe like an Irish countryside. Like if we're talking vacation home, it doesn't have to be like a. You know, like a Hawaii style.
Yeah,
like I could rent a castle. If I could build a vacation castle and live there for a time.
That's why I said like countryside of Spain because I can always travel into the town to watch a soccer game.
Beautiful.
Football.
Agreed.
Watch a football game.
Yeah, you call it soccer, they kick your ass.
I hate it when I call soccer here.
If you're in Spain and you call it soccer, they're going to rob you.
You don't understand how pissed off I was when I was so little and I found out that every other country but America calls it soccer. I was like, what the hell?
Doesn't surprise me at all.
I was like, what the fuck?
This is America we're talking. That doesn't surprise me at all.
It pissed me off.
Americans are so
And they're like, well, we can't call it football because we already got a football. And I'm like, you don't even kick the ball as much as you do in soccer. I'm just having one today.
Again, the things you get angry about.
I'm just having one today.
It's crazy.
Dream job, go.
Oh.
I knew this would stump you because we've had multiple conversations.
My dream job is to never work again in my life and still be able to afford to live. I don't dream of labor. Let's start there. But if I had to work for the rest of my life, I mean, at one point I was like, oh, I would do video editing all the time because I do still love video editing. So maybe that tattoo artist was also in the cards for a while, but I've put down the needle for quite some time. So
I was gonna say I almost put down a few options for you because I know we've had this conversation.
Yeah.
But I was like, I wanted to leave it open ended to see what your actual answer would be.
Yeah. I mean, I would want to do something creative. Like what I do now, like I work in payroll and it's fine. I kind of like the balance of everything is black and white. There are rules that have to be followed because it's payroll and you have to follow wage laws and numbers are numbers and they aren't up for debate, that kind of thing. I do kind of like that, but at the same time, I am a creative at my core and I'm like, fuck, there is nothing I can do in this job that stimulates my mind in a way that I want it to. So that's what's frustrating about my job, but I also love what I do at the same time. Something creative.
The only joy I get out of my job now is when a customer comes in and they have something that we're like, well, I have this idea, but I don't think you'll be able to help me with it. And I'm like,
try me.
Do you know who you're talking to? Come here. Let's come over to this last. Let's come over to this last
You're
computer
like, shh.
Come and we start working, and then it
come
takes
meet me at the self-service printer.
Yeah, it takes me like 5 minutes to do what they were telling, and they're like, "Holy crap!" Like that's exactly what I wanted. I was like, "Yeah, like."
Period. Slay.
Yeah, I know. I'm like the guy here. Here, that'll be $500. No,
yeah. Digital enhancement is $35.
It's $35, and you have to buy my lunch.
Lunch is not included in the
lunch
digital
is not
enhancement
included. I mean, mine would be photography. I recently went to an interview. You don't know this, and they asked me what's been my favorite job so far, and I said photography. Mm-hmm. Probably shouldn't have said that.
It's okay. It's a job you didn't want anyway. So it's okay.
I was just like, for being a photographer. And they're like, okay. And that's just the truth. Is like, recently I've started going to more. Like, I'll talk about it. We went to Pride.
We did.
And before Pride, I had a 5K that I shot. This is my
same day.
Third year that I've done it. And now this upcoming weekend is going to be a doubleheader again because I have another 5K. And then
Right.
there's also a protest going on that I want to go take pictures of.
Is that Juneteenth? Or just the...
No,
Because Juneteenth isn't a protest. What are you
no,
talking about?
Juneteenth is the 5K I'm doing.
Oh, okay. I mixed it up.
The 14th is No King's Day.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Oh, okay.
So there's a lot of protests going on all over
All the whole country.
the whole country.
Yeah.
And there's one that I saw a post of recently that I was like, okay, I think time-wise I should be able to make it and still be able to go and take pictures. But
You just got a lot going on.
yeah, it's just it's been the first time in a very long time that I'm like, okay, there's a lot going on photography-wise that I'm loving it. I'm excited to come home every day and be like, okay, I have a lot to edit, but I love editing.
But it's editing something that you like to do.
Yeah.
It's not, yeah.
So
Yeah.
I would still say photographer.
Period.
And I'm still learning about it. That's the cool thing about it is I'm still freaking learning.
Yeah.
This one was a funny one I thought of. Out of these people who have played God, who is your favorite? A, Morgan Freeman from Bruce Almighty.
Right.
B, Bill Murray from the movie we just
From
watched.
the Phoenician Scheme.
Scheme.
Yes.
And C, I put this in here because I know you've seen it. Rob Benedict, Supernatural.
He did. Oh, that's right. God and Supernatural. Okay.
I have one, but it's not the third one. Oh, she's getting serious.
Okay. As
I threw this in there because we went and watched the Polynesian Scheme.
Phoenician.
The Phoenician Scheme.
You are such a way with words.
I know.
Oh, the Polynesian
Oh,
scheme.
the Polynesian. And he popped up
Phoenician Scheme.
randomly. Bill Murray.
So
And it was so funny.
in the Phoenician Scheme, like
And he's credited as God.
Yes, it's the new Wes Anderson movie. There would be cuts where the main character would be like unconscious or having like a moment.
He's dead. He
He's
dies.
Like, he dies.
Yeah.
And so he's having he's like on trial in heaven or whatever. And Bill Murray is there as God. And Micah, his hair is huge. His beard is giant.
He's also really big, so like when it zooms out and you see Bill Murray next to the main character, his hands are so massive. It's so funny, dude.
No, like when the movie was over and the lights came up, Micah was like, "Are you ready to go?" I was like, "No, I'm waiting to see if Bill Murray is credited as God." And he was. He fucking was. So
that's where I got this idea from.
That's funny. As like bit God, like as a bit, obviously Bill Murray in the Phoenician Scheme. Like that's so fucking funny.
So good.
It was so out of left field that he was in that movie.
I was saying there, I was like,
That's
and
Bill Murray.
and I turned to you, I was like, "Is that Bill?" And you're like, "Yeah." And I'm like,
and that's Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was so weird that A, he was in that movie, and B, that he was God.
But which one out of those three is your favorite one? And I threw Supernatural in there because I knew it'd throw like a curveball.
And I have opinions about that portrayal of God, like as a figure. I would say my favorite would probably be Morgan Freeman, only because I know that if that scenario were to happen, like God would present himself in a person and be like, "Okay, you get to be God for a day." Oh, a prankster through and through.
Oh yeah,
like he would be doing that for fun. 100%.
He went on vacation. Freeman. That's what he did.
Exactly. So I think that's a funny way to think about it.
That is my choice.
So
as well.
I would say Morgan Freeman. As far as the Supernatural one goes, that one is like a more. I'm sorry, we're getting a little. It's a more wrathful depiction of what God looks like. But it's also like a very human way.
No clue of who or what he is.
Basically,
but I threw that in there for you.
It's kind of weird. They basically play on the idea of God doing it for fun, not because of this grand plan for people and creation. He did it for fun. And he's basically using different life forms he's created, like not just Earth with Dean and Sam and, all of the monsters or whatever, but he has different planets and aliens and, whatever. And he's doing it basically as a reality TV show. And he's watching over it kind of that way. So that depiction is, while very interesting, like also heart-wrenching to think about as well. And there's like a scene where Dean, like God comes up to him and he's like, hey, I'm God, by the way. Dean comes up and he's like, where were you, kind of thing, like a tearful thing about it, because obviously this version of him is very, not cool, not a cool dude.
Very much like, oh, whatever.
Yeah, again, like he did it for fun.
Yeah.
Like that's how he's portrayed. So Dean has this whole heart-wrenching thing of like, you did all this for fun, like what's the point? You put us through all of this, yada, yada, yada. So with all of that said, I still do like the Morgan Freeman. Also, Bruce Almighty's a classic.
Bruce Almighty.
I love that movie. What a fantastic movie.
Also, I just like how Morgan Freeman in it is very nonchalant about it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's as a bit, and it's just so funny.
It's just
so,
like,
I love it so
he's
much.
like, yeah, you can be God. And he's like, wait, what do you... And he doesn't necessarily even say God. I don't think he does.
I think he does. He does. He says
does?
God. Yeah, he does.
I think for a very long time, Bruce Almighty's like, who are you? Like, are you who I think he is? And it was like, yeah, I'm him.
I think he says God at one point.
But it's just like, he's like, I don't know. It's just a good...
It's a good... I like it.
Yeah.
Again, like, if he were
Plus,
to...
also, it's Morgan Freeman, dude.
Agreed. God. That's period.
Yeah.
That's all I was going to say. No. Again, like, that if, a figure such as that were to present himself to a person, be like, this will be funny. Hey, love that.
Yeah.
That's silly. And again, I agree. Morgan Freeman is great.
Yeah, so I thought that would be a fun one to ask you. Here's another one. Out of your sons, who is your favorite? You must choose one.
Zuko.
Wow, that was quick. I didn't even name them yet.
Zuko.
I said Toby, Zuko, Tatsu.
Zuko. I mean, don't get me wrong. 2 out of the 3 sons that I have are absolute assholes. Tatsu is the biggest asshole. Zuko is a sweetheart, but he's also
An asshole.
Yeah. But of, those, I would say my birth sons, because Toby's my stepson.
Yeah.
Of my biological sons, Zuko's such a sweetheart. Like, Tatsu will beef with anybody. Zuko loves everybody but toddlers. Zuko hates toddlers. He met the first toddler in his life. He sat there and barked at him the entire time it was in our house.
He doesn't like miniature people.
He doesn't like small people. You're like, you're too close to me. And I didn't like that.
Yeah.
Zuko is a sweetheart. And he's a great dog. I love him dearly.
I'm
Zuko.
biased, Toby.
You're going to say Toby. That's fine. Toby's also a sweetheart, but he's very skittish.
He's very skittish.
So it's difficult
He
sometimes.
doesn't like when things get loud.
Or move too fast.
And he has a little bit of a peeing
sweet.
problem. Like, he's peed on
this couch once.
yeah,
but we had to
couches
throw out our other couch because it was just too much.
Yeah, so...
No, Zuko.
Listen, they all
No
have
question.
their cons and pros, but...
Zuko.
Yeah, I was like... I had a feeling, but I wanted to see what your true answer would be.
Zuko. He's so sweet. He's the best.
And then this one's mainly more for you because I can't do either. Do you like to draw or paint more?
Well, they're kind of the same thing, but well, sort of, not really. I painted a lot when like I was first getting into like being an artist and whatever, and I did it a lot. I dabbled in a lot. I did oils for a bit, or not oils, but there was like pastels. I did pastels for a bit. I loved that medium. Hard to do. Didn't stick with it for too long. And then I went to watercolors. Hey, I hate watercolor, by the way. But I love acrylics because it's the closest thing to... Because I love the anime like style. Like, I love sharp black lines, and I like cell shading and things like that. So with acrylic, you can do all of that and things like that. So I guess I would say drawing, only because... I don't know.
It's the closest medium to what you love.
Yeah, and I guess the way I can put it is I like concrete forms, Like, I don't like when things are, at least for my personal, like, me making it, I don't like abstract, I like when you can see the form, it's visible, you know what you're looking at, like, an anime girl with big titties. Like, I know what I'm looking at, and I like it.
Love that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I like a concrete black outline and,
Because even when we paint... 2 different styles.
Yes.
We have you who is just naturally gifted at...
Not naturally, but it's fine.
Naturally gifted.
I had
is
to work
a
for that, but it's fine.
beautiful drawer, artist, and painter, and is just like going at it. Then you look over at me, Sometimes I don't know how I'm going to start. Sometimes I don't have a concept until you're about halfway done drawing the like outlines of yours.
But see, that's why I like when you paint though, because it's more carefree. Because when I do it, or at least when we paint together, I'm like, okay, I have to do the lines first, and then I have to make sure all of these fit. Da 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 da. Yours is just like paint canvas, like you're going. So I quite like that. It's more carefree and it's more fun that way.
There was a time, I don't remember why we did it. I think we just did it as like a family thing. But there was a time that all my stepsisters came over to my mom and my stepdad's house, and we all painted like a canvas.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom still has all of the canvases. Mm-hmm. I don't know if she's put them up yet in her new house, but anyways, and I was the first one done.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I was the first one done was because I had in my mind, same thing that every time we draw, I was looking at everyone else's and I was like, I have no clue. I'm like, well, just draw something you like. And at the time, all I liked was video games. And I was like, I can't really draw anything.
It's a painting of a video game controller.
So then I was just like, oh, video game controller. So then I drew the video game controller. My mom was like, is that it? And I'm like, shut up. And then I went over and I was like, I put some stuff down so it doesn't get everywhere, and I just flicked my brush at it so it like does this. Yeah, it does the splatter. And I was like, all right, I'm done. And everyone's like, really? And I was like, yep, that's it. Oh, and they're like, oh, well, you got to sign it. And I was like, okay. And I took the brush and I went, Mac. And it's so big.
It is. It's Ryan Cock. It really is.
Yeah. And so everyone, for like the next hour, I'm just, I think, Mia did like a time lapse of us, and you just see me walking around looking at everyone and me pointing at stuff because I was done. I didn't have anything going on.
I love it. Like, I think part of me, and again, I'm working on, is like I care too much. Like, that's something about art is like, yes, you can care about how it looks. And,
I'm with that.
And you're very particular, like things like that. But when you do it, it's just like I'm paint to canvas, and whatever happens. And I love that. I used to be like that.
I do think it has helped with my photography.
Yeah.
Because I talked a little bit about this last episode, I think, where I used to edit to the pixel.
Yes.
In a lot of cases, and I've gotten really good at being able to zoom out of the picture and look at it in its entirety and be like, okay, is people gonna recognize what I just did?
Mm-hmm.
And it's coming up more often than before, where a lot of my stuff, because I'm moving a lot of my stuff is coming out a little bit blurrier or a little bit like motion blur compared to like just still.
Right.
And it has something to do with me still trying to learn my style, but it also has a lot to do with
sorry.
No, would you?
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at me.
What do you?
I'm trying to hold back a dude.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, I'm really trying to listen. And I'm like, oh,
You're
God.
like, oh,
I'm
jeez.
really hard not
Oh,
to.
Lord.
I'm so sorry. I'm listening, I promise.
And so there have been times where like a picture that I take is like super blurry or something, or it's like a little bit more blurry than I would like it, and then I zoom out and I'm like, honestly, you can't even freaking tell. And then I post it and they're like, oh my God, I love this one. And I'm like, oh, they don't even know. So a lot of when I do paint, it comes with, that's my time to not really care.
Yeah.
To where I'm like, it's fine.
And again, I think I'm the same way with like when I take pictures, like I don't give a fuck. Like I'm just like, I'm here. I got this moment. I'm moving on. Like I don't care. Composition, whatever bullshit. I'm taking it on my iPhone. Who cares? You know.
That's your first mistake.
I know, but like that's where mine is. I'm the complete opposite. Like I don't care how pictures look. I'm just like, yay! Look, it's tattoo on the floor. You know.
He's rolling around in his own litter or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my little list of things to talk about or questions.
I pulled up my list that I made on April 3rd, 2023. What I think would send Victorian era citizens into a coma.
Yeah, let's
if you
hear
want to read it. First one is Bluetooth.
Oh.
Like if I was
Lord, yeah.
If I handed a Victorian era person, I'm like, this is an AirPod, put it in your ear, and then I started playing music in it, I think they would have a freak out. They're like, what is this magic?
Yeah, they would be like, there's no wire, or they like, Yeah, they'd have
Yeah.
a freak out.
They wouldn't even know what a wire is. They're like, how did you get it? How'd you get music in this little thing? They
Yeah.
wouldn't think about wire or connectivity. They wouldn't, you know.
They're thinking about it playing on that big ass.
On like a phonograph or
yeah.
whatever. And they're like, how did you get all that into this little thing? Backlit keyboards.
Dude.
And especially ones where you hit them and then it like.
And it ripples.
Yeah, it like ripples, like the lights.
They'd be
ripple
like,
out.
oh.
Like a Razer keyboard.
Yeah.
And just like you click it.
You're
and it
clicking.
Just goes lights everywhere,
Yeah.
and it
Oh
lights
my
up.
gosh. Have you seen those ones where it's almost like glass?
Yes,
where they're like
dude.
clear.
Yes,
those
I kind of
ones are
love those.
crazy.
I kind of love those. Yeah, I like mine. Mine is like mostly white keys with some blue ones.
Yeah.
It makes really nice noises, but yeah, it does that where I click it and then the lights will ripple out. Love it. Love it. Funny that we talked about this earlier. Supernatural fan fiction.
Why specifically supernatural?
Okay.
Is it because there's like just a lot of religious
No,
or
no,
demon?
it has nothing to do with any of that. So when Supernatural was coming out, I think the first season of Supernatural came out in like 2005. It's had about 8-9 seasons.
Okay.
So when Tumblr was huge, I'm talking 2013, 2014.
Oh, there's a lot of gay stuff.
With Sam and Dean. There's Sam and Dean, who are the brothers in the main show. A
Yeah.
lot of fan fiction about them. There was a lot with Dean and Castiel, who was like the main angel. He's like the guy with the black hair and whatever, the trench coat. An insane amount of crazy fan fiction. Like, I'm talking horned up, fucked up stuff. And you know what's funny, too, is they acknowledged it in the show. Like,
Did
they
they
made
really?
a bit about it. They're like, did you know that? Because basically, they introduced the idea.
Well, I know that they also Supernatural, like they love their fans too.
Right, they do. But they brought up this thing where they introduced the idea of a quote unquote prophet. He later ended up being the God character I talked about earlier.
Yeah.
But whatever. In the beginning stages, he was considered a prophet. So basically, he was quote unquote receiving this story about Sam and Dean and all of the things they were doing. He made it into a book. And so in the Supernatural universe, this book of everything that was going on in the show was released, and that's where they saw the fan fiction.
That's so funny.
Supernatural's awesome. I really want you to watch it at some point. It's really, really great. It's very
I started
interesting.
watching it, and then I was just like,
Yeah, I mean, that's fair, too. I mean, I love it. I've been watching it since I was a youngin', so
Listen, you turn a movie on, and you're like, watch this. I'm like, bet. You turn a show on, and you're like, watch this. And I'm like, how many seasons are there? There's 8.
Of Supernatural, actually, I think there's 15.
And that's what I'm saying. I had a friend.
But you can stop at about 7. And
I had a
fine.
friend who was like, you should watch Doctor Who. And I was like, how many seasons are there of that? And they're like, there's
45.
There's like 100. And I'm like,
The Supernatural, you could stop at like 6 or 7, and you've got the point.
No.
Like, you're fine.
I don't know about that.
Kanye West.
Oh, dude.
Just put them in a room with Ye, and then have them. And then, you know what?
I think they'd want to kill themselves.
And I wrote this in 2023, so that's like not even the worst of the that he had done later.
I think by this time, if you're talking like 2025, Kanye West.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, Ye.
Yay, whatever.
You throw them in a room with him, dude.
Yeah, I think just him as a specimen of a person is fascinating and not in the good way.
I should do a paper on him for like when I get to my master's.
I don't know. I mean,
I have no clue, but
the
he's a
ethics
case
of
study.
all of that is
He's
strange,
a case study
but,
for sure.
yeah, I mean, he's also weird and has very bad opinions. So
Yeah.
what have you? The Monica Lewinsky scandal.
To Monica Lewinsky, is that
With Bill Clinton.
I was gonna say
I
that.
did not have sexual intercourse with that woman.
Sex.
Dog. That's so funny. And to have to explain that to a Victorian. Okay, all right. So the leader of the free world had sexual intercourse with his secretary, and he got away with it. Barely. And his wife was there watching the whole time. Yeah.
Dude.
A Nintendo Wii.
Bro,
I would think same thing with the AirPods.
A lot of technology stuff, their minds would just be blown.
I would think that kind of the same thing as like an AirPod, where it's like, all right, so you're gonna take this remote. It's called a remote. You're
Mm-hmm.
gonna hold it in your hand, and if you hold it up to the TV, you can see the hand.
It's kind of like the same.
Like, oh my god!
It's kind of like the same thing with like the Switch nowadays. They're like, all right, here you go, and they're just like, what do I do? They're like, play the game, and they're like, on this.
What am I
They're
holding?
like, wait,
what is
I don't
this?
understand. And they're like, well, that's your screen. They're like, this is my.
Yeah, agreed.
Like,
Agreed.
I feel like a lot of technology, you hand them an iPhone, and you're like, here you go, and they're like, what does this do? And they're like, what do you want it to do? And they're like, what do you mean? They're like, you can search the web. What's the web?
What's the web? And it's an endless
yeah,
cycle of
that's
things.
what it is. Is like,
And it's
you can
like-
call someone. What do you mean you can? What is calling someone?
And it's like 200 to 300 years worth of things they now have to.
Yep.
Dude, not even that. The past 10 years of things, that's a lot to catch up on.
Oh, type
Let
in the
alone the
chat, chat GBT. What's chat GBT? It's an AI. What the f*** is an AI? Like,
Which, okay, so for my next two, that kind of brings up a point that you said. First one of these next two is Aphrodite's boobs in the Record of Ragnarok.
oh, dude.
Okay, if you guys haven't seen it, Record of Ragnarok is an anime. Basically, it's
Didn't you show me isn't it in the first episode?
yes, it is. So they have Aphrodite, the goddess of love in Greek mythology, but her honkers are huge, and she has two people who have to hold up her tits. They're so big.
So big.
And I showed it to Micah around the time we were first going out too. We've been going out barely
I
like
don't
a month
remember
or two.
what brought it up. You were just like, hey, watch this. And I
I
was
think
like, okay.
I was watching and I was like, dude, you gotta see this. And it was two dudes who were holding up her honkers because they were giant.
It's crazy.
I was like, damn, it's like two watermelons on each side.
Two watermelon.
On each side. Next one is ifunny.com, which is the same thing as handing someone an iPhone.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, now open iFunny and you try to dissect all of that goes
Let's
on that
let's
website.
say you've caught them up on
as best you can.
as best you can, and they're like, okay.
All right, now here's a top text, bottom text meme.
They're like, what does this mean?
Why is there so much anti-Semitism on this website? People are so racist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. I think that would be so funny.
Pete Davidson, same thing. Not in the same vein of Kanye West, but just to have someone who looks like Pete
So you
Davidson.
show them a picture and you go, you see this man? Yes. Are you attracted to this man? They're like, no.
Okay,
and then you
now-
showed them the list of women that he had been with, and then you go,
Ariana Grande, Kim K. The list goes on.
and then you sit there and you go, now are you attracted to him? And they're like, I don't know what to think.
How did he pull so many bitches?
And I'm like, I don't
He
know,
looks
dude.
sickly.
You know he has no tattoos now?
Really?
He got rid of all of his tattoos now.
Damn.
I think he has like 3 left.
Damn.
But yeah, he has no tattoos left.
Wow.
I was like, that's kind of
It
crazy.
is crazy.
Because he had a whole body full of tattoos.
He did. He was yadded.
Yeah.
Tentacle porn.
Oh,
I wrote
God.
tentacle porn. This one's probably the most
I think they would.
je ne sais quoi horrible.
Yeah, I think they would probably. They would make you turn it off.
Yeah,
There's no
'cause
way that they're sitting there watching
in
that.
like, let's imagine in a Victoria era setting, like sex clubs existed in that time, but
Yeah.
like obviously it was way more taboo. Like obviously porn is somewhat of a norm now. I'm like, all right, so let's establish that you can film yourself having sex with somebody and
Here,
then make money
here's
off
your
it.
iPhone.
And
You
now,
can film on this.
And now here's an animated version of that with tentacles, like an octopus, exactly like an
Yep.
octopus, and they stick it in holes you didn't know you had.
Yeah.
Now, go about your day knowing this information. Dog, coma.
Yeah. No,
Dead.
they're.
Yeah.
I think that's one of those moments where they just have pure shock and they just don't
Yeah,
know how to
yeah.
process
Yeah.
it.
I don't like my next two, but I'll say them anyway. Guys named Chad and the Epcot ball.
Dude, them at the Epcot ball would be funny.
like,
That's the
it's
same.
so big.
That's the same thing for like the bean in
Oh, the Chicago bean.
yeah.
The Chicago bean.
You sit them in front and they're like, "That's a bean," and they're like, "What? Where do you wait?" Or like anything that's too big.
Yeah, I think like even like
The
a
rubber-
like a skyscraper.
The
would
rubber
do that.
ducky in Canada.
Oh, the big Canadian rubber ducky.
like, look at that. They're like, what is that? It's a
would-
rubber ducky.
I would say even just like a Dubai or not a Dubai, yeah, a Dubai like skyscraper or
Yeah.
whatever would do the same thing. Like anything with a large building with reflective
They're just,
glass on it, they're just agape. Yeah. The Call Me By Your Name music video by Lil Nas X.
Oh my
The
god.
one where he's on the stripper pole in the hell.
Where he falls down the stripper pole into hell. Oh, dude,
because
that
it's
brought
so-
so much like
controversy.
and it's
I'm like,
so
that's
funny.
That's just a gay horny
It's
man.
so
I don't
funny.
I don't get the big deal. But it's like, again, you gotta imagine where like modesty is like the whole thing, and even show a little bit ankle. This is a man, B, a gay man in like crazy ass heels
Going
on a
from
pole
being an angel to hell.
and giving a lap dance to Satan. Yeah, man, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
That is pretty crazy.
Yeah. A Vegas bachelorette party.
Oh my god. Dude.
I was pretty, this list has remained solid for the past 2 years.
It's pretty good. I
past 2
think
years.
I don't even think it has to be a party. I think just going to Vegas.
Vegas
with a group.
Just a Victorian child walking down the Vegas Strip, just watching. Dude, all of the lights. We'd be like, it's so bright.
You have people coming up. Here, take this flyer, and it's a flyer to a strip club, and they're like,
These women.
"Oh my god!"
boobs.
And then there's women walking up to them. You want to take a picture with us? And he's like,
I can see these girls' shoulders and the cleavage. It's too much.
And then
they
Elvis
just died.
Presley walks up. Oh, you
Oh,
know,
mama, would you like to come? Do you want to get married?
He's like,
Oh, mama.
who are you? What is going on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vegas as a city. And then to top us off, I said Nicki Minaj's verse in Monster by Kanye West. Pull up in the monster automobile.
I think
again,
them
Nicki
just.
Minaj is a person.
I just think like their introduction to rap itself would be like.
Again, and I think Kanye West is like a funny stepping stone, and then you sprinkle in Nicki Minaj, which is like the excessively like horny, like promiscuous part of it. Yeah, man.
What I imagine them being introduced to rap is them being shown a sheet of paper and it has all the lyrics.
Yeah.
And they read all the lyrics, and the person who handed them the sheet of paper goes, "So you know how long?" And let's say it took them like 6 minutes, 6 or 7 minutes to read it all, and they go, "Someone rapped that in half the time."
that it took you to read that.
And they're like-
someone said those words in literally half the
They're
time.
like, "What do you
and then
mean?"
you play it like pull up in the monster,
and then
like
you pull
it's
it
so
and
fast.
and you play it, and they're like,
Yeah.
"How are they saying those words so quick?" What?
Yeah. Yeah, that's just something
That was
I
good.
made for fun. Again, in 2023, that list holds up.
Still stands.
It holds up really well. Real quick, I know I've told you this before. My favorite rap bar of all time, like favorite rap lyric of all time, is "Kiss my ass, treat my balls like it's mistletoe." That's so funny.
Who was that from?
That's
again?
Brockhampton.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
Brockhampton. "Kiss my ass, treat my balls like it's mistletoe." Hey,
Pretty
like
banger.
Brockhampton as like a group, whatever. That's fucking funny, and
Yeah.
I will forever love that bar.
That's very good.
It's very, very funny.
But on that note,
Yeah, minute 7, we're good to go. Shade.
thank you guys for listening.
Mm-hmm.
I think this has been a fun episode.
I had fun.
Yeah. If you guys enjoyed it, please like, comment, subscribe. Comment down below what your favorite part of the video was. And then
Comment your favorite rap bar, and I don't know.
yeah.
There's a lot.
And then I have a little quick announcement. I have a video that's coming out soon, and then I have another video that I'm going to be producing that's digital versus film that will probably be coming out in about 3-4 weeks.
Yeah,
So we'll see.
When this video goes up, I'll link the first one that you've already made at the
Yeah.
golf course. I'll do that. So you guys can watch it.
Yeah.
So you can see what Micah does.
What I do on the side or whatnot. So yeah, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe.
Said that already.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe.
If you're listening on Spotify, thank you.
If you're listening on Spotify,
Thank you.
don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. But bye.
You do this every time. You do have to get up and make it stop. Why'd you groan like an old man?